Today I want to talk about a mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs are making, and I don't want you to make the same mistake. I've made this mistake myself. And if this is the first time you're coming across my channel, my name is Justin. I make a lot of videos about real estate, money, and self-development, and I also just document my journey as a young real estate investor and entrepreneur. But here's where people go wrong. Often, business owners forget that they have the ability and opportunity to pivot when they need to. But the trap a lot of people fall into is that they don't realize that they can pivot sooner than they planned. Sometimes in business, when an entrepreneur thinks, okay, it's not working, they'll just keep at it and continue doing the same exact thing, hoping that it'll eventually work. And that does work in some cases, especially if you're at the very beginning stages. But after a little while, if it's still not working, whatever you're trying to do, you need to pivot and you need to change fast. And I'm only making this video because it was a mistake that I was making myself. Here's the situation. For my real estate investing and wholesaling business, I started my cold calling operation maybe 9 months ago. And in those 9 months, the cold calling operation is barely profitable in terms of the amount of money I've spent on cold calling versus the amount of income that I've made from the cold calling. My other marketing strategies are way outperforming my cold calling, and I've been trying to figure out why that is, why my cold calling wasn't performing as well as I would have liked to. Because for me, my social media, my networking with realtors and wholesalers, my MLS deals, those are way more profitable as far as return on investment versus my cold calling. And so after 9 months, I'm really starting to think in my head, okay, is it time to cut off what's not working? Even though I had a game plan with the cold calling, stick it through till a year. I still might do that, but I'm still thinking as far as what the best strategy is, because do I double down on what's working, or do I continue trying what's kind of mediocrely working? If mediocrely is a word, I don't think it's a word. And right now, where my head is at is thinking, okay, maybe I should lessen the amount of effort I'm putting into cold calling and doubling down on the social media and the networking, because that's what's crushing it for me. But the point is I'm not afraid to pivot and change my plan when I figure out that I need to. Too many of us just follow through the plan, doing the same thing over and over again that's not working. But if you continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, that's literally the definition of insanity. It's not gonna work. So if you are a new business owner and you're finding yourself in this exact situation, not really sure what you're doing and if it's working, really think about how much time you've spent, how much deliberate effort have you put towards figuring out that strategy. Like maybe it's cold calling like it was for me. How much effort have you truly put in to make it work? Maybe you have cold callers. How much have you really trained them? How much have you put into the effort of making your list? Like how much work have you really done? And if you've done a lot and it's still not working, pivot, change. It's okay to change and do what you didn't set out to do. That's what the best businesses do. Here's an example. Think of Instagram. You probably know what Instagram is. It's a photo sharing app, video sharing now. But when it was started, I believe it was called Bourbon. Like it was literally just an app for people to take pictures of their alcohol and then share it on the app called Bourbon. And they did that for a little while. Investors pitched in money for that. And after a year or so, they're like, hey, this is kind of a dumb idea. I don't know why we're doing this. But after they kind of pivoted and figured out, okay, maybe alcohol is too small of a niche, they figured, okay, hey, maybe we're still onto something. Maybe we're onto something with a photo sharing idea. This is still pretty cool, but alcohol is too niche. So what did they do? They pivoted, they changed, and they said, let's just have it where you can share everything, any type of picture, and let's call it Instagram. And Instagram was born. So most of the big businesses they didn't start out exactly with what they're doing now. They usually started out with something that was similar to that idea that they have now, but they just pivoted and they figured out what worked, what didn't work. You should do the same exact thing in your business. Do what works, double down on that stuff, and what's not working, cut it off, or at least lessen it until you can figure out why it's not working, and if you can't figure that out, cut it out. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like videos like these, I make a lot of other videos about real estate, money, and self-development, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you at the next one.